Hello, I'm Nora, and welcome back to Novels with Nora. Today I have a book haul for you. This is a collective book haul from the entire year so far because I was looking at my shelves and realizing there are a lot of books on here that I only got this year, and I want to show them all to you, and I'm going to do it now so that because I was thinking originally that I would do it like halfway through the year, and then I was like, I already have 24 books here. I don't want to end up with like so many that the video is like so long. So today I have 24 books to show you, and these are all books that I got mostly from independent bookstores or like pre-orders, things that I was really excited to get. And also, I did not get these all at once. This was like from all year. 2 of them are pre-orders. Some are things that I wish I'd pre-ordered, but I ended up going in person to get. But I'll talk you through them as we go through. I probably won't give like a full in-depth description of each book. 1, because I don't have a description of each book. 2, because some of these you've already seen in other vlogs. And 3, because this video would be so long if I did that. So I'm going to go in order of when I got them and tell you where I got them and why I got them, I guess. So getting started with my first book shopping trip of the year. If you saw, I did a book unhaul and then like a bookshelf reorganization video, and in one of those videos, I don't remember which one, I took all of the books I was unhauling to my local half price books and sold them, and of course I ended up picking up a few things for myself as well. So the first 2 things that I got are for a video that I have planned, and also things I'm just really excited to read, and that is Bunny by Mona Awad and We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. Both of these things are books that Books and Lala, Kayla, my favorite booktuber who inspired me to make my channel, she loves these books, and I plan on doing a video reading things because of her. So I got these 2. And also, I had been looking for these books for so long and never found them like in a Barnes & Noble, in any other bookstore, and then conveniently that day, there they were. So Bunny is about this like group of girls in like an MFA program, and it's a little culty, it's a little weird, it's a little freaky. That's what I know about this. And then We Ride Upon Sticks, I'm pretty sure this is about like a girls lacrosse team. I think. Genuinely, I don't know anything about this. Follows the 1989 Danvers High School Falcons field hockey team who'll do anything to make it to the state finals, even if it means tapping into some devilishly dark powers. This kind of sounds like Yellow Jackets a little bit, so I'm really excited to read this. Both of those things will be in an upcoming vlog at some point. And then also while I was there, they had the illustrated edition of The Hunger Games, and I had been wanting to pick this up for so long. However, it is like kind of expensive. Yeah, it's $35 originally, but they had it for $29.74, and then I had a coupon for I think 10% off, plus then the money that I got for like selling my books. I did not take a single penny of that home because I spent it on all of these books, but I was so excited to finally get my hands on this because I love The Hunger Games, and this to me is like so fun, especially because there's a lot of illustrations of things that they didn't put into the movies. So I'm really excited to actually sit down and read this. I also, when they announced that they were doing Catching Fire in the illustrated edition, I also went ahead and pre-ordered that when Barnes & Noble was doing their 25% off pre-orders, because obviously great discount on something like this that's like fairly expensive. And then I also had like my stamps, so I used some money to get that off because I love these, but I cannot justify paying full price for novels that I've technically already read, and we have like there's copies of them in my house already. So I do have Catching Fire on its way to me. And then after that, I went to the grand opening of a new local independent fantasy and romance and then romantasy bookstore and picked up 3 things. First, I got The Phoenix Keeper, and all I know about this is that it is like sapphic zookeepers with these like at this magical zoo trying to deal with these magical creatures. That's all I needed to know. It's quite thick, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. It says, from one of the most exciting new voices in fantasy comes a warm hug of a novel featuring a magical zoo teeming with mythical beasts and a soul-restoring queer romance at its heart. Sounds wonderful. Then I also picked up A Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson because I am getting into vampire novels, okay? I am. I've always been a werewolf girly, but I just finished Lucy Undying, and I'm like, I need more vampires. So this I will be reading soon, but I saw this and like, this was at the time, I think I got this in February, and like everyone was talking about this. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I will be picking that up. So I'm really excited to read this. And I do think that in October, I'm going to do a whole like vampire reading vlog of just all vampire books because I have quite a few on my shelves, and I think you'll even see a few in this haul. But I was really excited to find this. I don't love deckled edges on a paperback, but it is what it is. This is all I know about is that it's like vampires and it's like the wives of Dracula. So all I needed to know. Really excited to get to this. And then finally I picked up Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. This was an impulse purchase and a cover buy for sure, because I knew nothing about this before getting it, but I was like, they had it facing out on the shelf and I was like, oh, I really like that cover. And then I opened it and saw this and said, oh, I really like that too. So then this one came home with me. This is from #1 New York Times bestselling author Ava Reid. Comes a reimagining of Lady Macbeth, Shakespeare's most famous villainess, giving her a voice, a past, and a power that transforms the story men have written for her. That's, again, all I need to know. So went ahead and picked that one up as well. Next I have, I think, some of the only books that I actually got from Barnes & Noble. And some of these you have seen before, because I do have a whole vlog dedicated to reading Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. I went in to pick up Hungerstone, but then they had this. So I ended up obviously having to pick this up. Absolutely love this. Lord Mallory, Queen Clarion, Tinkerbell, Pixie Hollow. Yeah, that was gonna be getting purchased. But what I went in for originally was Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This is, again, a vampire novel, a rich and daring reimagining that brings the beating heart of Carmilla to life again. Hungerstone is a delicious tribute to the inherent horrors of womanhood and the desperate and exquisite vulgarity of desire. Yeah. Also, look at this cover. Stunning. So, really excited about this. This will also be in that forthcoming vampire vlog. And then while I was there, of course, I had to look around, and I ended up getting Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. First of all, again, stunning cover. Also, this is like the floppiest little paperback. All I know about this is that it's like these women going into this like area that has been kind of like marked off because it has like dangerous growth and it's like a little apocalyptic. It's like set in an apocalypse, but like earthly apocalypse, if that makes any sense. So it's like overgrowth of like plant life in this apocalypse. And this is a series and I'm really looking forward to reading this. So had to pick that up. Had to. And then also they had a nonfiction that I'd been looking for a really long time because I've always wanted to read this, and that's Men Who Hate Women: From Incels to Pickup Artists, The Truth About Extreme Misogyny and How It Affects Us All by Laura Bates. This is a thick novel, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. I have a goal set for myself to read at least one nonfiction a month, so that I'll read 12 nonfictions by the end of the year, and this is something I really want to get to, and I was so excited to see that they had it. So yeah, I did have to go and pick this up. I keep saying I had to pick all these up. I didn't have to. I wanted to, and aren't I so privileged that I'm able to? Next, I have two books that I had actually been looking for a really long time, and I was out with my dad one day, and we just kind of randomly stopped into a Books A Million, and they had two things that I had been looking for kind of forever. They had Strike the Zither. First of all, I love a Books A Million because they always have that like discount section where you can get like hardcover books for like $6. We love to see a deal. And this I'd been looking for because I don't know what video I mentioned it in, but I know I mentioned it on this channel at least once, if not several times. I talked about how I had picked up Sound the Gong, which is the sequel to this, without realizing that it was the sequel. So I had that one on my shelves. It's right here. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to read that. And I went to pick it up and I was like, oh, this is a sequel. So I read this as an ebook and absolutely loved it. And I was like, well, now I want the physical copy to match the other physical copy that I have. So when I saw this, especially for only $6, I said, yeah, that's coming home with me. And then similarly, they had He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. This is the sequel to She Who Became the Sun. And I have been wanting to read the sequel since I finished the first one, honestly. I just did not, I say I didn't have the copy of it. I have a special edition. I think it's the Illumicrate special edition, but I don't like reading those. They're like a weird shape. They're like really tall. I just have a weird thing about reading my special editions, which I know is insane. But I also have you can see it right here, the like US cover of the first one. And I was like, I want them to match, especially because I love that one so much. So again, saw this for like $6. I said, yeah, that's coming home with me. And I got so excited when I saw it. So this is very exciting. Similarly, another time when I was out with my dad, there was a Half Price Books and I was like, oh, let's stop in, because there's like one Half Price Books in my area and it's like fine. Every once in a while you'll find some gems, but most of the time it's like the same stuff is here every time. So we were in like a new area and I was like, oh, let's just like stop in and see what they had. And I found The Last Hero by Lyndon A. Lewis, which is the finale in the First Sister trilogy. And I've read the first two books and own them and absolutely love them and have been waiting to find a copy to finish the trilogy. And here it is. It's a little bit damaged, but also it was a steal because of the damage. I think it was priced really cheaply and I was like, I've been looking for this forever. So it's also really heavy, but I'm really excited to have this and to finally finish the series. Now, do we think that I'll actually finish the series in a reasonable amount of time, or do you think it'll sit on my shelves forever? Yeah, I think it'll probably do that, but I'm so excited to actually get to this, and I was really excited to find it in the store as well. And while I was there, of course, I was looking around and I found A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. I don't really know what this is about other than it's like a sci-fi fantasy type novel, which are some of my favorites, especially when they're written by like women or non-binary people. I have a thing about reading like sci-fi fantasy by men. Right. But this one is about this ambassador, and her station is like falling apart, but then she goes to like somewhere else to like take up her new post, but like things aren't quite as they seem, but no one seems to be acknowledging that. So she's like, I should probably just keep my mouth shut to keep myself safe, but at the same time, like, these are my people, that type of deal. So these two honestly feel quite similar to me, which is probably why I was so excited to find it, but really excited about this one as well. But again, how long do you think it'll sit on my shelves before I actually get to it? The same question could be asked of any of these books. We are nearing the end. These next 4 are things that I got when I visited one of my favorite bookstores that's here in my area, and it is huge. They have so many things. Like, you can spend genuinely all day in there and continue to find new things. So I was really excited to be in there, and of course, I walked out with 4 new books. First of all, they had To Shape a Dragon's Breath, which all I know about this is that it is like an Indigenous-inspired dragon story. Again, all I need to know. I think you're realizing with me, I don't need to know a whole lot about the books that I'm buying. There needs to just be like 1 or 2 things about them. I'm like, yes, that is for me. But this one, a young Indigenous woman enters a colonizer-run dragon academy and quickly finds herself at odds with the approved way of doing things in the first book of a brilliant new fantasy series. I didn't know it was a series, but again, this is something that I've been looking for quite some time and just hadn't found. And then it was actually really quite silly with this one because this store is huge, okay? The shelves go like all the way to the ceiling, and so they just have like little rolling ladders that you can get on, but I'm terrified of heights. I was not about to get on this ladder. So I made my mom wheel it over, and it was like genuinely like one of the topmost shelves, and I made my mom wheel over the little ladder and get it for me. And my brother and I were there, and we were laughing, and she was like, you better be buying this book, and you better love it, because it was so funny. Like, it was like silent in there, and then she's like screeching this thing over. She did not find it funny, but my brother and I did. So I'm really excited to get to this, and I better love it, especially since my mom, I made her climb up there to get it, but I was really excited to find this. Another thing I was really excited to find was Monstrulio. Again, I think this is going to be something that I read in that Books and Lala vlog that I was telling you about, but also this just sounds like something I'm really looking forward to reading. This is something where, like, I know vaguely that it's about like grief, and this family has like a son, but then he dies and they take like a piece of his lung and it like creates a new child creature, and that's really all I need to know. Again, I don't need to know that much, but I'm really looking forward to reading this, and the cover is also just kind of creepy. Like, what's that little guy? What's he doing down there? So I was really excited to find this. A lot of these books are things that I have like had on my radar for a long time, and like every time I go into a bookstore I look for them and then just never find them until I'm conveniently in a place where I'm buying a lot of other things and I'm like, one more, and that's what this was. And then in the nonfiction section, I tend to do some damage to myself in the like women's nonfiction, like women's history, feminist nonfiction sections, and that is what happened here. So first I picked up Against White Feminism, Notes on Disruption. I had started reading this when I was in college because I think I had picked it up for a paper I was working on and then realized it was like beyond the scope of my paper, but was really interested in it, and then just never had time to go back to it. So when I saw this, I was like, yes, I will be buying this, because I remember starting it and being like, yes, I really like this, but I had gotten it from the library, so I couldn't like mark it up or anything. So when I saw this, I said, this will be coming home with me. Also, but the cover of this one, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, it has this texture that I do not like. It makes my hands feel so awful. So reading this will be an experience, but I am genuinely really excited to pick this one up. And then this was like my find of the day. Like, when I saw it, my hand shot out, I gasped, jaw dropped, and that is The Man Who Hated Women, Sex, Censorship, and Civil Liberties in the Gilded Age. I read this book when I was in high school, actually, and I absolutely loved it. This is about Anthony Comstock and his crusade against women, and we have like the Comstock laws, and even like this is so fitting, so unfortunately for the current times we're living in, as our current administration is in fact trying to bring back the Comstock laws. Disgusting. But I remember absolutely loving this, and again, I read it from the library, so I couldn't mark it up, and I think about this book so often. When I got my like graduation pictures taken, I did them in the library, of course I did, and she was like, oh, do you have a favorite book that you want to get pictures taken with? I ran and grabbed this one because my library did have it, and so now my like senior graduation photos from college have this book in them. I love this book so much. It kind of like changed me as a person, because this book is really what got me into like feminism and like feminist theory and like feminist thought, and then also just like women's history. And like, I think that this book can be credited with like making me into the person that I am now. Big claims, I know, but it's written like, it is nonfiction, and it is like kind of like a heavier nonfiction, but the way it's written, it was so easy for me to get through. And just the things that I learned in here, there's pictures, there's like different stories about different people. I absolutely love this book, and I've always wanted a copy, but it's more of like a obscure nonfiction that like Barnes & Noble doesn't carry, and like Barnes & Noble and like Half Price Books are really the only two like big bookstores that are in my area. And so when they don't have it, like I just kind of give up on the hopes of ever finding it unless I order it online. But there's just something about like going into a bookstore and finding a book that you've been looking for so long and being able to take it home with you that day. And that's what this was. And I was so excited to find this. Like genuinely, I think I gasped out loud when I saw it on the shelf. They had it like on a display too. I'm just so excited to read this again and really just like dig back into it and like think, like reflect on who I was when I read it the first time versus now when I'm reading it, having done my undergrad in women's and gender studies. So I'm really excited to actually reread this. These next 4 books you've actually already seen me haul if you watched my Independent Bookstore Day vlog, because I did talk about all of these there. But we went to 4 bookstores and I came out with 4 books. So at the first bookstore I ended up with an ARC, because they just had like a shelf of ARCs that you could take, of Herculine, which is how I decided to pronounce it. And this is about like this trans girl going to this like all trans girl commune to like reconnect with herself until she realizes that things are amiss. I think it's also led by like her ex-girlfriend, so I'm really looking forward to actually getting to this one. I think it comes out, yes, October 7th. So I have some time before it comes out. But also, again, this cover. What can I say? I have great taste. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And then I also picked up Some Desperate Glory, which is quite similar again, at least in like genre scope, to The Last Hero and A Memory Called Empire, because this is about this woman who she is like ready to be done with what she's got going on, but then her brother gets sent to this post where it's like certain death and she has to like avenge him, but she gets sent to the nursery where she's meant to just like breed for the rest of her life and like create new people. Ew, gross. But then she decides, no, I will not be doing this. This will not be my fate. And she like rebels against everything. So I'm really looking forward to this. I love like a feminist sci-fi, if you can't tell. I love feminism, and I love when it's like embedded into books like this, and I feel like it works so well in sci-fi. So I'm really looking forward to this. However, I do feel like this is something that again will sit on my shelves for a little while. I don't know what it is, but like the more excited I am for a book, the longer it tends to sit on my shelves, because I'm worried about it like not living up to my excitement. And this is something that I feel like is gonna do that, because yeah, this is something that I could absolutely love, but it's also something that could let me down so ferociously. So I'm really hoping that I love it, but it will probably be a little while until I pick it up. This next one was an impulse purchase, and that is Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. Mainly because like I had seen it some other places and was like, oh, that sounds really interesting, but like I should probably get it from the library. And then it was Independent Bookstore Day, and I was like, oh, the bookstore's having a sale, it's Independent Bookstore Day, I want to support them. So I picked it up, and this is about like a witch who gets thrown into this like bog, but then there's like a monster living in the bog, but then they kind of like strike up a friendship. Though they have nothing in common, Jenny, an unlikely companion, must band together on a quest to defeat an unforeseen evil that threatens the very soul of Britain. So the witch and the little bog monster end up coming together to, I feel like it's going to be kind of like a gruesome but at the same time cozy fantasy, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then finally, another book that I had been looking for a really long time is This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. This, what I know about this is that it is 1920s sapphic black vampires. Again with the vampires. Like I am just so excited to pick this up. Also, this is like a big book, and this is another one that I've been looking for so long and just could not find. And then this like random little bookstore had 2 copies. But they were also having, again, because it was Independent Bookstore Day, they were having 25% off one purchase. Here was my purchase, and I was really excited to pick this up. So I'm really excited. Again, that vampire vlog, stacked. Final 2 books I have to share with you are pre-orders of things that I'm very excited about, and I've actually already read both of them, and I loved both of them. First was The Ashfire King by Chelsea Abdullah. If you've seen like any of my other videos, you know that The Stardust Thief is like it's my second favorite book of all time. I absolutely love that book, and I was lucky enough to get an ARC of this, and I pre-ordered it. Obviously I had it pre-ordered before I even got the ARC, but like, oh my god, this book really it did something to me. It was such a wonderful sequel. Let me tell you what The Stardust Thief is about. The Stardust Thief follows Luli and Mazine, and they go on this quest to find this magical lamp, and a lot ends up happening. Nothing is as it seems. Everything is magical in a way that you wouldn't expect, but is so wonderful. It's darker than you would think. It takes so many twists and turns, and this was genuinely the perfect sequel to it. I cannot wait for the 3rd book, but because I pre-ordered it from a bookstore that the author was working with, I got it signed and personalized, and she drew a little bird in there. Absolutely adorable. So I just, this book is much bigger than I thought. I read the arc in like 2 or 3 days, so I did not realize it was going to be this big, but I'm just, looking at this on my shelf makes me so happy. And then the other pre-order I have, and the last book of this haul, is Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. This, absolutely loved it. It is a novella, so it's really small. So like putting it on my shelf, it looks quite silly because that's all you see. But this is about, it's like Mandalorian meets like Sapphic dragon hunters. Yeah, again, that's all I need to know. I got an arc of this one as well, and then immediately pre-ordered a copy as soon as I finished it because I loved it so much. I haven't read anything else of Neon Yang's writing, but I do own Genesis of Misery, which they've written. Again, haven't read it because it's sci-fi, so it sits on my shelves longer than other things. I'm really having a lot of realizations in this video, but I absolutely love this. For being as short as it is, it felt like it spanned so much time, and like we spent so long with these characters, even though it's not even 200 pages, it felt so robust, I guess, and just like getting to see these characters like come together and like learn to love each other. It was just so beautiful and wonderful, and I absolutely loved it. And again, with the cover, stunning. And those are all the books that I have to share with you today. That is 24 books from the past like 4.5 months. I am trying to pump the brakes on my book purchasing because this is a lot of books. So if you've read any of these, I would love to know your thoughts on them. I do not usually purchase this many books, I don't think, this early in the year, but we had Independent Bookstore Day and I took those books in. There were just like a lot of events that were happening that led me to the bookstore, and so I ended up having to purchase things while I was there, obviously. So I feel like the rest of the year probably will not be as jam-packed full of books, but you know, if it is, I won't be too mad. My shelves will be because there's not room for all of these books, but I really love everything that I got. I've already read quite a few of them, honestly, so I'm really looking forward to reading the ones I haven't read yet. And with that, I need to put all of these books back on my shelves. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you've read any of these books. If you purchased any books this year, what did you get? What are you excited to read? And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.